everyone, welcome to this channel or back to this channel if you're new here. My name is Amanda. We make book content on this channel and I hope that you guys would stay along for the journey. And I know it's been a really long time since you guys have seen my face because I've been a busy girl. As Sabrina Carpenter says, I'm a busy woman. And with that being said, I'm finally back, hopefully putting out videos once a week on Fridays, getting back to the regular scheduled programming, which I know you guys are all excited about because I am also excited about it as well. Today, you can already tell by the title of this video, I am bringing you my April recap and just diving into the books that I read in April, which is definitely a downgrade to the books that I read in March. I definitely read a lot of books in March. If you haven't watched that one, go watch that. I'll link it up here. Without further ado, let's get straight into these reviews. Okay, so in the month of April, I read a total of 3 books ranging from 3 genres. We have fantasy, romance, and like a coming of age novel. I read a total of 1,822 pages and an average rating of all 3 of these books was a 4 stars out of 5. So what did I read in the month of April? Well, I read none other than Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I read Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLauria. And the third one that I read was Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. So let's just hop right into the first review for the month of April. The first review is going to be none other than this little girl right here. And I think you guys will already know what I'm gonna say because I have been in the thick of Kingdom of Ash for a very long time now. Not even just Kingdom of Ash, but I mean like just Throne of Glass. Like a whole year I was in this girl. I was in there like somewhere. But with that being said, I rated this a 5 stars out of 5 stars. Now, yes, I did rate it a 5 star out of 5 star. Was it captivating for me? Like kind of. Like at the very beginning of the book, it was very much like everything was being set up, and so I was kind of having a hard time getting into that portion, was like getting through just like the setup. But once we got into it, I was reading it so fast, so really freaking fast. And I think the best part and why I have given it a 5 out of 5 is due to the fact that I just love that all the storylines have come to a conclusion. And I know that like obviously that makes sense, like everything is like ending, the whole entire trilogy of the 7 books is done, so obviously like why would it not come to a full closure? But what I'm trying to say is that I have enjoyed and liked how each of the storylines have concluded and like where their path had gone, if that makes sense, which is why I enjoyed this book and I gave it a 5 out of 5, which is crazy. Like I said, this girl was massive. And I'm so glad to finally be done and over with her. I'm not gonna lie, because it was a long time. And I also have a whole bookshelf just staring back at me, waiting to be read. So with that being said, now that I finished this girly, we can get into a couple of those girlies, which I'm really excited about. And the next book that I read is none other than Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLauria. I was recommended this by one of my good book besties, Destiny. If you guys actually watched our 24-hour read challenge, this was one of the books that she went in grave detail about what it was about because she loves this book and it has been her favorite book pretty much her whole entire life, and she has been dying for me to read this. So I finally fulfilled her wishes and I read it, and I am rating this a 3.5 out of 5. So due to this genre being a coming of age contemporary sort of novel, it was very much like I was being thrown back into high school. Like I was her and she was me, and I was back in high school dealing with the fact that, you know, I was wearing the same shirt as somebody else in my school, that I, you know, had a crush on this boy who I didn't know if I had a crush on me back, you know, just like those little things that happen only in high school. This book brought it back up for me. But what I did love a lot about this book was more on the sense that the whole entire time you're caught with the question of like, why is she not writing to her sister, right? And a little backstory about this book is that in her English class, she gets an assignment to write love letters to the dead. And so she decides to start writing to a bunch of dead people. And her sister had recently passed. And so the whole entire time you're reading this, you're just wondering, why have you not written to your sister? Especially when most of the time she's talking about how much her and her sister were so close. So you're just sitting there like reading these letters and going through her everyday life being like, so why are you not reaching out to your sister? Because that's the whole point, you know? I really loved how it came together, and I really loved, you know, the grievance in this, and I really loved the little romance in it, but I also just liked how the author truly made you feel like you were back in high school. It was very an interesting avenue to go through, and I just ended up liking it a lot more than I thought that I was gonna like it. So that was a plus. The last book that I read in the month of April is none other than Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I rated this a 3.5 out of 5, and something about this book that I really enjoyed a lot is that the male main character fell for the female main character way more and way harder than the girl main character. And I think a lot of the times when we get a romance book, it's always that the girl is like so head over heels in love with the man, and so when you're hit with the opposite, like I just eat it up and I love it so much. And that's why I enjoyed this one so much. And I also just enjoyed too their love story in the sense of like they've kind of always been in each other's lives but like never really saw each other as such a thing. And also it's like a fake marriage, if anyone's into that, you know? So yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns, and you're trying to figure out why the heck this one girl is gonna marry this man, but you're like, you know, it kind of makes sense, and then, you know, things happen, and there's twists and there's turns and there's family drama. I mean, what more could you want, honestly? Honestly, you know what I mean? Alrighty guys, well that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button somewhere down there if you want to see more of my face and more of the videos that I post. Until I see you guys in my next video, I hope that you guys get lost in the books, because that is actually the best part. And until then, I will see you guys later. Bye.